This is FanZcene, 5 Things. Hello fellow followers, and today I'm going to be giving you my 5 favorite Superman movies. I started my channel by making fan tribute music videos about Superman, as he is my favorite character, my favorite superhero. So I decided, why not, on my next 5 things, I will give you my 5 favorite Superman movies. So starting at number 5, Man of Steel. Now, this movie is directed by Zack Snyder, and personally I think it's his best DC movie to date. The shaky cam is a bit at times, and I wasn't too big fan of Kevin Costner as Paul Kent, but I was a big fan of Henry Cavill as Superman and Michael Shannon as Zod. And after the movie that was Superman Returns, it was great to see Superman man up and get in some fights and throw some punches and be Superman. And I had real high hopes for what would come after this movie. I was really pleased with this movie. I was happy with the performances. I enjoyed the somewhat new take on Superman, and I was hoping that, after the big battle with Zod and after snapping Zod's neck, that this Superman would grow into the Superman that we all know and love. Of course, we got Batman v Superman after this, and that was ruined it. But I thought, if we could have just got, some directors come in after this Man of Steel movie, make a direct sequel to Man of Steel, like Captain America Winter Soldier, from First Avenger to Winter Soldier. I think this could have been very similar to that. But with that being said, this is a really good movie. I really enjoy this movie, and Michael Shannon rocks it as Zod. Henry Cavill, I think, does a great job of Superman. It was great to see him come into his own, and I was cool with Superman snapping Zod's neck. I know a lot of people wasn't, because Superman doesn't kill, and he doesn't. He shouldn't. He's Superman. But I was okay with this. The way they set this up, with Zod, he wasn't going to stop no matter what. And this was, I think, Superman's only course of action to do. But you can argue it wasn't. And I thought maybe, after that would lead to the Superman, because that we know that wouldn't kill. Like, this was the moment. He's like, okay, I didn't want to do this. I had to do it, but I will not do this no longer. I will be, I will be right from here on out. But I really enjoyed this movie. It's got some great visuals, some awesome battle set pieces, and great performances. So I really enjoyed that. So check that one out if you're a Superman fan. It's a great movie. Moving on to number 4, Superman versus the Elite. Now, I really enjoyed this movie. It's one of the better DC animated films to come out. I love how the artwork starts off as cartoony, and as the movie goes forward, and the situations get darker, and the characters show their true colors, with Manchester Black and Elite, and what they want to do, and Superman feeling like he's being, pushed to the side. It's great to see that the artwork gets darker and the circumstances get darker, and a sign of a great villain is when you can almost relate to the villain's motives. And Manchester Black, he's one of the great Superman villains in the more modern times, and in comics and in this movie, who is voiced beautifully by Robin Atkin Downes. He does a great job of it. And George Newbern, who did the voice of Superman on the Justice League cartoons on Cartoon Network, he does Superman. They do a great job. They play well off each other, and right up to the big moment when you think Superman's really lost it and he's going to kill all of them, and then he does what Superman does. He wins, he saves the day, and he shows you why there is a need for Superman, and why he doesn't need to kill and everything, and why we need that type of hope at points. The movie can be a bit wishy-washy at times, but it's really great. If you haven't seen it, check it out. I suggest it. It's really good. Now moving on to number 3. Number 3 is the latest, one of the latest DC animated films, The Death of Superman. I think this movie is really good. It's based more traditionally on the original graphic novel from the 90s, The Death of Superman, and we get to see the actual Justice League in this one. Batman, Flash, Wonder Woman, Green Lantern, all of them with Superman, and where like in the graphic novel you got Blood Rain, Booster Gold, Blue Beetle, and Fire and Ice, and those characters, which those characters fine, but you think with Superman you see the traditional Justice League. In this we get to see that because it's sort of set in the New 52 universe, which is a bit of the downside, but other than that, it's really good. Jerry O'Connell does the voice of Superman. Rebecca Romijn does the voice of Lois Lane. It's great interactions. It's great. A slow build up to why who Superman is, who his friends are. His love with Lois Lane, what he wants to do, whether he should reveal a secret, and Doomsday is more like his comic book counterpart in this than he was in the original. And the fight between Superman and Doomsday in this is amazing. It's great, and when that big moment comes when Superman, ends up dying, sacrificing himself and defeating Doomsday, it really hits you. It really gets you. They set it up beautifully, and this is how Batman v Superman should have did. Should have been, more Superman movies, maybe a new Batman movie, Wonder Woman movie, Aquaman movie, and then build into something like the Death of Superman, like the DC cartoons have done. If you haven't seen this movie, I suggest you check it out. It's really good. And the moment of Superman's death is really great, and the character of Bibbo, who is one of my favorite Superman characters, is in this, and he really gets you. He tugs at your heartstrings in this after, when he finds out what happened to Superman. So if you haven't seen this, check this one out. It's a good one, guys. It's a good one. The follow-up, though, The Reign of Superman, not as good, but it's alright. It's cool to see Cyborg Superman in the follow-up, though. So if you want to check that out as well, too. But number 3 is The Death of Superman. And number two is Superman Part 2, the original Christopher Reeves movies. This movie is really good. You get to see Terrence Stamp's Zod, which is brilliant. He's maniacal. He's great. He's over the top. He's an awesome villain. You get to see Christopher Reeves continue to play the greatest Superman of all times in a great story. You could go either on this one, the Richard Donner cut or the original. I prefer the original. Not that the Richard Donner cut is any good. It's really good. They're both really good movies. And great performances all around. To see in this one, you get to see more of like Superman battle. The supervillains more. It's more comic booky. You get that that sense of like, okay, now what can Superman do now, and you still get Lex Luthor, you still get Lois Lane, you still get the Daily Planet, you still get the classic Clark Kent, and the banter between Lois and Clark, and pretty good epic finale, with Superman versus Zod and the other two, which I'm sorry I cannot remember the name, which I am a Superman fan, I really do know their names, it just they're skipping me at the moment, but it's really cool to see them. Non is one, and I'm sorry, I can't remember the other one. It'll come to me, I know, but it's great to see him fight them, and this is a really good movie, and like I said, you go either way, Richard Donner cut or the original cut. I prefer the original cut, but I like them both, and I mean Christopher Reeves as Superman, awesome, just awesome. Terrence Stamp as Zod, just awesome. They are the great ones. So Superman 2, great movie, great premise, good action, great performances. I really enjoyed it. And moving on to my number 1 favorite Superman movie that is of all times is Superman the movie, the original, the classic, Christopher Reeves, Gene Hackman. The real estate scheme, the Superman coming to Earth. Him meeting Lois, the helicopter scene when he saves her. Who's got you? I've got you. Who's got you? Scene. That's great. Star-making performance for Christopher Reeves, and this is just a great movie. You don't understand how many movies this movie has inspired, from Batman Begins to even the new Marvel movies. So many people that have made superhero movies have been inspired because of Superman the movie, because of the way it was casted, the way it was directed, the way it was taken seriously, the way the action was, the way they went into making this movie without trying to be cheesy. I know it may be seen as a bit cheesy now, but back then it wasn't. It was well told, well written, well directed, well acted. It's Superman on the big screen. You will believe a man can fly. and I believed, and I loved this movie ever since I was a kid. It's what got me into Superman. It's what's got me into the Superman comics. What got me into the Superman world. It's what got me into DC. It's what got me into Marvel. It's what got me into my love for nerd and geek stuff all around, from Star Wars, Back to the Future, to collectibles, to everything. And it's because of this movie, because of this character, that I love this stuff. And I give a big shout out to Superman, his creators, DC, Marvel, and Christopher Reeves all around. You know, it led me to my stuff I really like and enjoy. And so if you have not seen Superman the movie, I suggest you check it out. It's a great movie. You won't be disappointed. And there are my FanZcene 5 things, 5 favorite Superman movies. I appreciate it for listening to me, hearing me out, being with me. Remember, I'm not the best, but I try. And if you like this video, please like, comment, subscribe below, share, and follow me at FanZcene on Twitter. And I hope you guys have a great day. Godspeed, and thanks for watching.